Well, I'm a data guy. I like numbers and statistics. I don't really seem like that because I have a short attention span, but I do. So I'm always looking for data that will sort of give me a little bit of a picture of what's going on in the world. You know, you're out there fighting your own little battle every day, and it's hard to get a big picture. You watch the nightly news and they just tell you about bombs or something like that, and you don't know where the country's going. And see, to me, if you have a better sense of where the country's going, then if there's a wave starting, you get on that wave, because that's a lot easier than swimming across the tide or having no wave at all and trying to swim. So this is some data I've seen in the last week or so that I think is pretty important, and give you a little perspective on where you want to concentrate your efforts. You know, because we could change our own life. We may not be able to change the life out there. You know, that takes a lot of work and maybe a different kind that I'll ever be interested in. But you could change your own area of life and what you're doing in your life. And that's why to get a picture on where the world is going, and so you don't fight it, but you work with it somehow. Like here, how the rich are getting richer. You know, we hear that all the time. But here's some real data, you know, that shows that and quantifies that. Like now, the top 10%, look at this graph. You can see it in this graph here. You know, the up and down. This graph goes from 1920 to about 2012. And see, up at the top in 2012, 50% of all the income in this country goes to the top 10%. So the top 10% are getting 50% of the income. Wow. And see, back in the 60s and 70s, almost about the beginning of the 80s, it was only about 30% of the income. So they have increased their share from like 30-some% to now over 50%, you know, of the income. And it even shows, like, even in the income in the after the recession and how we're starting to grow again, they're getting about 90% of all the additional income that's created in this country. So that's an interesting thing to look at, to see what's going on. You don't want to be down there in that 90%. So how do you get your butt up to the 10%? Or if you're going to work on the changing policies to maybe change the rules a little bit. But anyway, no matter what you do, this is the real data. This is IRS data. Economists go out and look at the real figures from the government. And here the top 1% are now making over 20% of all the income. So 20% of all the income in this country goes to the top 1%. And that used to be down to like 10%. You know, just about 20, 30 years ago. And for, you know, in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, the top 1% was making about 10%. Now the top 1% is making 20-some%, like 24% I think it is. But here's another piece of data on that topic too, is where your income has gone. Okay, if you look at that top 10%, now it's a little hard to see on this graph maybe, but you see the little bar on the left-hand side there, the real little one, that shows you since 1966 what your wage increase has been if you were part of the 90%. So 90% of the people in America since 1966 only got a raise, listen to this, $59. $59. So you came out of school or whatever in 1966, sorry, because that's about when I got out of college, is 1966, and started to work. Today, the average of the 90% of the people only got a raise of $59. So now at 70 years old, I'd be making $59 more than I was at 21 years old. So that's what's going on in our country, you know. I mean, but now the top 10%, they can't even make that bar big enough on the page. They said it would be 163 feet high. So the bar from that little couple inches on the bottom on the left-hand side, the next bar for the 10% would be $116,000. So the top 10% got a raise of $116,000, you know, versus the bottom 90% got a raise at $59,000. Where do you want to be, right? Or the top 1%, listen to this, got a raise of $628,000. Wow! So, I don't know who's deserving, but you want to figure out how to be deserving or change the system or work like hell to get, be one of them. Because otherwise, God, you imagine for 50 years your wages only go up $59. 90% of the country that happened. So that's one piece of data. Here's another piece of data that's interesting, is pensions. Everybody's working for a pension, and I think that is so silly, because you should be working now for what today is, not what something 50 years from now is going to be. Nobody knows anyway. Like here, look at this. This headline here, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae are eliminating pensions. Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, these are corporations started by the government. So they're government subsidized companies. They're never going to go out of business, right? They were just bailed out and things like that. They're cutting out their pensions, right? And they're not the only one. And actually, I see in the state governments, it used to be the government was the best place to get a pension and things like that. Man, that's changing. State governments are financial trouble. They're changing that. And I'm sure the feds will get to it soon. But Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they're sure. Now, here's a chart, too, that shows you about top 100 companies in the United States. Look at the left-hand side of that graph where you see the line on top that's for traditional benefit plans. That's when your corporation put money for you in a retirement plan. So almost like 90% of the retirement plans were that way, where the corporation put all the money in. That's what it was. This is back in 1985. So we had 90% of the companies putting in retirement money for you. Okay, and only about 10% had retirement plans where you had to put in the money. Now look at this, 2012, it's the reverse. You're putting in all your own money into a retirement plan that's run by the company. And there's very few companies that are putting their money in there for you. So you're still support your own retirement plan. So don't count on some big company taking care of you for the rest of your life or whatever. Man, nothing's guaranteed anymore. And investing in yourself, investing in you, that's what it's all about. I mean, to me, that's what we should be doing, whether it's skills or whatever. So we keep current. We know that we could go across the street because we have the skills to get a better job even than the one we have now. And no matter what age you are, look at it, even at 70, I feel like I'm trying to learn everything now so I could compete in the world today. And now actually go to college. You go to college now for free at 70. So it takes you 2 years or something like that. Man, you got 10, 20 more years to work. What the heck? And you go to school for free too, because you're an old fart like me. Actually, it starts about 60 on that. So those are interesting data. Now here's another set of data about disability rules. Okay, I know the program is a government program. If you can't work, you have a disability, they pay you. It's a small sum. It's like maybe $1,200, $1,300 a month or something. You get disability for that. But the important thing too is that you get, after 2 years in disability, you get Medicare. No matter what age you are, you get the same health insurance that I get now from the government, and I don't pay. So people are going onto these roles because of the bad economy. They have grown since like 2000. There was 5 million people on disability. Now there's almost 9 million people. So that's almost double that. So people can't find work, and they're older people that have some kind of disabilities or whatever, and have trouble working or whatever, and they go on and figure out how they get disability because they don't have options in life. And that's a pity. And that's why even before you get that, I mean, you can't go back again. We talked about going back to school. Go to community college, become a healthcare professional. 2 years, you probably get that paid for too. And you could be starting a job at $50,000. Even those that people on disability would rather work if they could find a job, but it's hard. So you have to go back and get trained. Somehow in order to keep up, particularly if you're an older person. I mean, you got to get the new skills nowadays to compete, and our community college system is set up for that kind of thing. I ran an item too a little while ago on how you could go to school if you're computer inclined. You don't even need a degree or anything. They'll send you could take a free course for 9 weeks, and when you graduate, they guarantee you a job for $90,000 a year. Right. No high school degree, 9 weeks of training, $90,000 a year. So go on my YouTube site, it's YouTube /Matthew Lesko 70, and you'll see video explaining that. But I mean, there are options out there without going on disability. And if you have trouble with disability, don't forget there's lawyers out there that will take a percentage, if they fight the government for you. But before you do any of those things, number one, find your local elected official. If you're having trouble with the disability getting on, or they're not treating you right, your local elected official, your congressman, senator, has special offices that could help you, and they're free. They're not going to, you want to use all the free stuff first. Also call 211. That's your local aid hotline for nonprofit organizations. Find a nonprofit organizations that help fight the disability claims before you want to share this money with some amulet chasing lawyer. Yeah. Okay, now for some good news. Look at this headline that came out this week. U.S. surpasses Saudi Arabia in world's top energy producer. Man, we produce more energy than Saudi Arabia. I've been around here for a long time, and I remember in the 70s, we're going to be, the world is going to be over because we can't produce energy and things like this, and the Middle East is going to rule the world. Even 3-4 years ago, that's why, or 10 years ago, why we went to war, worried about the oil. Now we have more oil than anybody else, man. So you never know where the good stuff is going to come from. So that's right. To me, it's just keep playing, keep playing. The longer you keep playing, the more other things have a chance to happen. That's good. So even all the bad stuff that's happened in the world, man, there's some good stuff here. We're now the super energy producers, and people are buying it from us. You can get 50% off your battery charger. That's right, for your cell phones and all the gadgets you have around the house. You get 50% off on that. Don't go to the store. Don't go to Verizon, all these kind of places or internet. Man, you go to crowdfunding sites. This is this young man here. Actually, he's in Brooklyn, and he designed this thing where it's like a little tower. So you could put like 8 different phones in there and charge at the same time. So all your friends come over for a drink and they want to charge their phones, and you can't find out, what kind of, power cords and all this kind of stuff. Man, it's so reasonable too, and it's next to nothing. And now it's half price because you're funding an entrepreneur who wants to develop this stuff. All he has is a model now. He doesn't have the full product. He just has a prototype that he shows you on. And if he gets $25,000, then he's going to go into production, and you're going to get a half price. If he doesn't raise all the money, doesn't matter. You don't have to pay anything. But when he makes it, you'll be the first people. Oh my goodness, that's somebody calling me. I'll worry about that later. They'll be the first people calling. And you'll be the first people, to get one of these things, and then you can show all your neighbors, hey, look at the cool thing I got on the internet, and I helped this entrepreneur quit his job so he could start his own business. See, so that's what you could learn from this video. One, how to get a charger for 50% off, and a great new little charger too that nobody else is going to have. And 2, how to raise money on the internet so you too can quit your job and do something you really wanted to do in life. That's what this world is all about. This is what this crowdfunding is all about too. So watch this. Well, Aaron Altime, man, you got the neatest invention here called a life spot. And when I read about this, I said, I need one for my kitchen right here. I got friends coming over, and they want to charge their cell phones, and I'm always looking for plugs for them and everything. So you got this gadget where you got about 8 cell phones could plug in and recharge all at once, and they could leave the house all charged up with my liquor and their battery, right? What made you think about this?
That is correct. I would love to see it in your house. I would love to see it. In fact, if everything will go well, I believe you will agree to give me your address.
Well, everybody's going to have this. I mean, you see, like you mentioned earlier, this makes so much sense. Like in a bar would have one, because it's almost like a conversation starter. I have this at a bar, and the young woman comes up to charge her cell phone, and the guy sitting at the bar and says, helps her charge the cell phone in the right plug-a-magoogie or whatever it is, and starts a conversation, right? So you're really going to be a matchmaker and a battery charger, charging your heart, not only your battery.
I will love to hear one story that there is that I was a matchmaker without even thinking that.
Well, I mean, I could imagine. I mean, it's unique. I mean, I guess there must be something kind of thing, but nothing so elegant that you've designed, that really looks like it fits and can fit in anywhere, and you have almost every kind of plug for any kind of device, right? So you could put also not only your cell phone, but your iPad or whatever kind of tablet you have.
Kindle Fire,
Right.
anything that is micro USB or Apple connector.
Now you can
It's most of the devices that they design. Most of them, like 95%.
Yeah, well, that's close enough. Yeah. But it seems that seems to be the problem we have with these gadgets. They're great, and particularly like phones, because you're using them more for calls. You're downloading, you're texting, and it's becoming like a PC now, and they're not getting bigger, so the battery life is an issue. And
they get bigger, better, but the battery life always is going to be an issue.
Yeah, we got to have some kind of breakthrough that we get 10 hours in the size of a pencil, but that's a long way away, and you'll be selling this until then. Yeah. So what made you? I mean, was it what you were talking about earlier? Is this your wife's idea, or was it you?
It was both of us together. Like kind of, we were wondering. Oh, a lot of people came over. Let's see if there's something online. So she did the research. I'm not that good on research. Online, the internet is. I would say it's not the best hobby that I have. So yeah, she good in internet. One of the best hobbies she has is internet. So she did it, and it's not that good. Come over, take a look. What do we have? What do you say? We start to make that conversation.
And it just developed. Now you said she actually even drew the.
I will say she outspoke what she's thinking. Like I want the line to come from here to here, so it can look like a triangle. And sorry. And then I figure it out, and I put it on a piece of paper, and then yes, this is it.
I see. So she's the one that really conceptualized what this thing could look like, and you took her ideas and scraped it out and got a designer.
She wanted a place that a font to be to put in. One designer gave us something looked like a vacuum cleaner. Yeah. The other one it looked like a plant. And different ones give us something else.
But I can see even for a family, because everybody's got at least one phone, so if you have a family like that, you have a 9-year-old, your 9-year-old probably has a phone by now, right?
She is going to take some time because, the school have they have rules.
Oh, I see, yeah.
But I guess in a few years, but I have a one phone from work, and one my own phone, my own smartphone. My wife has one.
Yeah. And you probably, if you have a tablet and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And if you have a nice little device like this where it could all be charged at the same time, then
it will be less cords and a counter.
Yeah, and there's nice little slots to put these things in, and it's out of the way, and it's there, and there's little lights that tell you it's ready, like the oven, right?
Yep.
you take the buns out of the oven when they're ready. But it seems to really solve a problem in our lives, now that we have all these gadgets and to charge them, right? And more people, like with Wi-Fi, they'll have this. In their establishments, but home, I mean, whoever thought of home? I mean, that's the ideal place for friends and everybody else, not only yourself, then everybody.
We have the football season. Yeah. Guys getting together.
Yeah. And
basketball season just starting today. Right. So it's, the gathering is not even sports, family. We all the time be trying to gather together.
Right. So you come and watch a ball game, and all the guys could charge their phones, and they don't have to worry about bringing an extension cord or their charger or whatever, because you got a plug for everybody, and you get everybody plugged in. But I think the neatest thing about this, Aaron, that if people help you now, they'll be getting it like for half price when it comes on the market, right?
I'm sorry?
If people help you now and back your project, the amount of backing it will be like half the price that it will eventually be when it comes out of the market.
Yes, that is correct.
So
It will
you
be
got
half the price.
a hell of a deal here.
And beside that deal, they have that proud of to be the first few hundred people to get it, which they will get it first. And where you got this charger?
Right,
It seems cool. I need one. How much it cost? Oh, dude, no.
You're too late.
Exactly. Wait a little bit. Go to that website, check it out, how you can buy it.
You're too late. You're right. I mean, because that's what crowdfunding is for, I guess. Raising money like this, you're looking for money to get in the first production. And gosh, you're more than halfway there, and so you're going to do it, and it's going to be here. So people want to get in on the early bird special. Really got to do it now.
The 55 early bird, it's already all gone.
So we have what is the 65?
Now then the next early bird is 65 for modern. But another $10, it's not a big deal.
Hey, right.
It's about dinner for one.
Right.
a sandwich in the subway.
Right. Especially in New York. But more importantly, it's getting this on the market that's really needed.
That's the most important.
And investing in a creative process that you spent literally, you're talking years you spent working out the details on how to manufacture this, instead of buying something at Walmart or something like that from some factory is going to do 18 zillion of these things you're going to see all over. Man, you got something with someone's heart and soul behind this and making this happen to make our lives better, which is really cool. I mean, it's really a cool thing. So I'm sorry, I guess Judith is in the other room taking care of the children. They're off school this afternoon. So
maybe there's a chance I should come say hello.
So give her my best, and the best way to find this is go to life-spot.com.
Yes,
and that will connect you to Kickstarter.
Yes, from there you can connect to the Kickstarter.
Right, life-spot.com, and even if you're too late for Kickstarter, it'll still be there, and they'll still be able to find you no matter what, because you'll be the Life Spot gazillionaire, in a few months, and we'll be able to see you on TV.
Thanks to you.
Well, thank you so much for your work, Aaron, and
thank you very much. Have a nice weekend.
Yeah, give my best to your wife and the children. Okay, take care. So isn't that cool? Go out, take advantage. Neat products on the internet like this that are a fraction of what you're going to pay even at Walmart. So why shop there when you could shop for stuff that nobody even else has or knows about yet? But more importantly, use this as a tool for your ideas. Start learning from all these other people that have used this technology to start their own businesses. And mostly with zero in their pocket. That's what's so neat. You don't need a fat cat. You don't need all this other stuff. You just need your idea and the will to learn. And here's a fascinating woman I'd like you to meet, Rose Spinelli. She has an interesting background. She was a fundraiser. I mean, this is someone who's a grant writer for nonprofit organizations, writing grants, getting free money for people. And she gave all that up to concentrate on helping people now get free internet money, right? She thinks this is the hottest game in town. I'm biased because I believe that. I believe that too, is what I was trying to say. But I mean, this is what it is. So now she teaches people. She's been doing this for a year or two now, helping a lot of people. And she knows the fundamentals of all this. And actually, she boils it down in 4 things you really got to know before you start trying to get free internet money. And they're simple things. Anybody could do them. But you have to know and understand these 4 little things. And this is what she's trying to teach people about. So they too can go out and do internet money. Because then you don't need a grant writer to do that. This is what's so neat about getting this kind of free money. And she has a little business, a consulting business. She doesn't charge outrageous fees like a lot of consultants do. So she's a very practical woman and kind, and actually ran nonprofits for animals. People who are interested in dogs and cats and things like that. And helping them, so she'll actually even do the work for free if you're trying to help dogs and cats. So that's where her heart really is. So watch her explain the 4 things you got to know. And I've been talking to a lot of people in this business now who've done it, and she's right on target. So listen to her, because she's thought about this more than even I have, or you ever will probably. So listen to Rose, she'll teach you. Well, Rose Spinelli! Well, it's delightful to see you again, Rose. We spent some time together at the big crowdfunding conference out in Las Vegas. But you have a consulting firm that really helps people try to figure out this crowdfunding thing, and you don't charge gazillion dollars, like a lot of consultants do, to help people figure out how to get this money. First of all, your website is thecrowdfundamentals.com, right?
Right.
So why are you excited about crowdfunding? I mean, you're basically a journalist, aren't you?
Yeah, well, for a few reasons. I sort of slipped into crowdfunding accidentally because I was helping friends and organizations, dog-related organizations, raise funds for campaigns on crowdfunding. I sort of stumbled on it, thought it was really cool. I actually do have a nonprofit background where I was doing development.
Development, that's called fundraising, right? Isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So I understood what it took to raise money, and I was good at it, when I was working in the sort of like old paradigm. So then suddenly to see this new democratic way of raising money was just phenomenal to me.
You don't have to hire a developer like you, right?
But you know what? That's really such a dinosaur method of raising money, I mean, you could do, it's a real, crowdfunding is sort of DIY. It's just a matter of teaching people this sort of formula of what.
So what are the big mistakes that people usually, fall into when they're trying to do this stuff?
Well, one of the things, and it's very understandable because social media is new for all of us, right? So we're all sort of like just getting our feet, slipping our toes in the water. And so the biggest mistake I would say is that people aren't using social media enough, and they're not using it correctly. And so without social media, crowdfunding would not exist.
I see. So in other words, they're just putting a site up and they think all the money will come in, and it's not happening, right?
Exactly. They think that these platforms are shopping malls.
I see.
And they're just ready to give you money, They don't understand that it's no different. It's just a different way, but you still have to market yourself.
Yeah.
You still have to put yourself out there. And because we live in this connection economy, and this in the social media world, it's really necessary that you share what you're doing, but also be interested in what other people are doing in social media. So it's about engagement.
Yeah.
So they fail to realize that it's about
So
engagement.
before you even start one of these things, so you should get an idea what your social media looks like and what's going on there before you build a crowdfunding web page or whatever.
Right,
huh?
right.
Yeah.
You should find. Have you heard the term 1,000 fans? We've all got 1,000
Right.
true fans.
Right.
So you have to find those 1,000 true fans. And it's so easy. I mean, the tools online make it so easy for you to do that. There are Facebook pages that are set up for exactly what your interest is and exactly what you want to raise money for. So it's up to you to start, contributing, join those groups, find those people, share what you know, be interested in what they know, and suddenly you have a relationship. So that when you go to them and say, I'm trying to raise money for this, A, you know that they're interested in what you're trying to raise money for. They have the same passion you do, and B, they know you. It's not like it's not like a panhandler on the street saying, "Give me $50."
Okay, so what else have you seen out there idiots like me would do if I just did it?
Well, really for me, I'm I'm so interested in crowdfunding again because my background is journalism. What I've made a life doing is finding out people's stories. I am fascinated by people's stories. And so what I realized, the skill set for me that I think, helps me help other people is that I know how to find the story. So you asked what's the big mistake that people make is that they're not taking the time to really tell their story in a way that inspires the passion that we know is there.
Well, I guess it's hard for us as individuals because we think, I've heard this story my whole goddamn life. Who the hell wants to hear this?
Right.
So you're able to bring it out of me or something like that.
Right, exactly. And so hopefully, it's like if I and other people share the knowledge that, yes, we are interested in your story, that then they will start realize those crowdfunders out there and future crowdfunders will realize, people do care, people do want to know not just what my product is, but how I came to want to develop.
So if you're making a new kite, and you tell that little story when you were 3 years old and fell off the cliff with the kite.
If you don't tell me that part of it, chances are good I'm going to lose interest pretty quickly.
Right. Who the hell cares about a new kite? But you falling off the cliff at 6 years old, man, that's cool. With a kite string. Wow.
It gives me something to relate to about you. Suddenly it humanizes you, and it makes me want to stay on the page and learn more.
So we got social media, we got your story, and anything else that's a hot item that people screw up on?
Well, everything in my humble opinion, and that's just because it's my orientation, but I think story weaves itself in every important aspect of crowdfunding. So it's in the social media stuff that we talked about. It's like, and really, it's how businesses are run today. Brands are not about products anymore; they're about the people behind the brands. So it doesn't matter what you're trying to raise funds for. If you think it's too abstract, there's really no story there, that's not true.
No, you're right. I was thinking, even when I used to do a lot of television ads on selling books, I mean, people buy this book after seeing me for a minute on television. They didn't even saw the book.
Right. But they were willing to go buy the book.
Yeah, just based on me for 60 seconds.
What they learned about you and seeing you on TV. So, I mean, all of the pieces of the puzzle, even in terms, so another big piece that people fail to get right is how to interact with the media.
That must be it, media.
Right. And again, what is that fault? It goes back to storytelling. Because if I'm a busy blogger, or I'm a busy editor, or I'm a busy influencer of one form or another, I just don't have the time to wade through,
Oh, you got a new product, and I got to figure out how this is interesting.
So you have to. So what our new world is forcing people to learn how to do is to tell our own story as well. So no matter how. So when I contact a reporter or a blogger that I want to write about, it's like that I want them to write about me. I have to figure out succinctly and clearly what the hook is to pull them in, that first thing, and then to sort of roll it out in a way that doesn't. I mean, I got an email just this morning. This is a true story. This guy wanted help with his crowdfunding campaign. I opened the email, and it was like a blanket of text. It was just like and I scrolled down, so my heart sank. And I scrolled down to the bottom.
He needs help.
So the last paragraph was, so if you think you can help me, I'd really appreciate it. So let me get this straight here. You want me to wade through all of this before, it's like, do you see there's an imbalance here? It's easy for me to want to read this, So I wrote him back and I said, give it to me in 200 words or less, or better still, in two sentences. He did. To his benefit, he got back to me in about 15 minutes.
Good for him. Well, then he's willing to learn. So that's the fourth thing, maybe. You got to be willing to learn.
You got to absolutely.
So you got to understand social media. You got to know how to do the story and how to present a story to the media that use it. and that you're going to have to be willing to learn no matter if you're an old guy like me or a 22-year-old geek.
That's the good news, isn't it? You know,
Right.
learning new stuff is what we all
And you have a course, is it Rose? You have a course online that goes through these things. It's like it looks like a 4 or 5 hour course. I mean, that really takes you through the whole thing. And it's on Udemy, right?
It's called Udemy.
Udemy.
Yeah,
so it's udemy.com,
Right.
and you're the crowdfunding guru there. And you're saying to our people, you'll give a 50% discount if you use the promo code Lesko, Lesko.
Exactly. So the course itself is called Working the Crowd, Know the Fundamentals. If you go to the site, you'll find it very easily.
Okay.
Put in the promo code Lesko and you'll save 50%.
Wonderful. And to find you, you're always at thecrowdfundamentals.com. And if you or someone out there listening to us is involved with dogs, you'll help that crowdfunding for free, won't you?
I will. Yeah, rescue groups, people that are raising funds specifically for dog organizations because there's such a need and those people who are so overworked and they're doing such important work.
Yeah, dogs are so important. They have been in our family and they are to me. I never grew up with a dog, but now they taught me so much about life and they're wonderful. So thank you for caring for the dogs, and let's help take care of the takers. Thank you, Rose.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care.
So isn't that neat? Her website is thecrowdfundamentals.com, and that course, that's a nice, interesting place. That platform she has that course on, and I'm even thinking after I met her, I was looking for a place to put a course on, and so it's Udemy, UDEMY.com, and her course is called Knowing the Crowd. And just put in that. I just tried it. It works very easily. And she said if you put in Lesko, she'll give you a 50% discount on that. And I'm not taking any money. I don't get anything about that. I mean, I just want people to have a deal if I could help them do that. So, you got to learn this stuff and you want help. She's someone that's very kind and really her heart's in the right place to try to help folks. So take a look. Well, today that we're filming this, Twitter has gone public. And in the first couple of hours that it was listed on the stock exchange, it doubled in price. Do you think you made any of that money? No, because you're not an inside guy, right? Or person or woman or whatever. It's the insiders made all that. How do you get to be that? Well, things are changing. In the future, you'll be in on the inside because that's going to open up now to everybody through crowdfunding and the Jobs Act. We talked about this before. This is a law that Obama passed about 2 years ago. It's finally coming into fruition, and the laws finally came out of the Securities Exchange Commission. So next year, it looks like it's going to be that. And not only will you be able to take companies public for very little money, but you can invest in public companies like that, or initial public offerings, IPOs. That's what Twitter was about, but only inside fat cats were involved. Now it's going to be on the web, and anybody with a few bucks in their pocket can be part of it. And there's going to be websites popping up to help you do that and help you evaluate it. And see, what's neat about this is that you'll be able to find out where the rich folks who spend all their time worrying about this stuff, where they think the money is, because it's public information who's investing in what. And so if you, even with $100, could invest in the same place that somebody with $1 billion is, and you'll know there'll be data on the website to do this. So it's a neat thing that's happening for investors, and really as an entrepreneur to raise money. Instead of costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees, it'll probably cost you a few hundred or something if it's that much. So watch this interview and get in touch with this kind of stuff, because we're just months away from this all happening, and I really think it's going to change. I mean, it's changing over in Europe. They're using a lot of these kind of tools already. We're just getting a little behind the 8 ball trying to figure out if the government should work at all, let alone regulate something. So watch this. Well, Mr. Scott Hilton of TrueCrowd.com. And you're going to change the world to make the average, small entrepreneur or little investor really take advantage of all the hot new, investments in the country, right? So when's this going to happen?
That's right, Matthew. I mean, we're hoping to get this going as soon as possible. We're just waiting on the SEC to finish some rules, and we're finishing up the platform, and then we'll get it going. So very excited about the opportunity for everybody on both sides of the issue.
Well, but people don't realize, I mean, they're watching this, that, like a year and a half ago, I mean, Obama passed this Jobs Act. They're trying to create jobs in this country, and they put a little thing in there that said, hey, we're going to now make it people be able to go on the internet and invest in real small companies and and the little companies don't have to fool with the SEC and spending all kind of legal paperwork to get funding money, and you or me or anybody off the street can now get an investment like the next Facebook and not having to join some country club, right?
That's right. I mean, thank goodness Congress threw that in there, and Obama signed the changes. It's really going to open up an amazing new capital stream for business startups. It's going to create new jobs in the end. That's why they called it the Jobs Act, right? And it really is. Right now, small business startups, they have to jump through a million regulatory hoops. It's very costly for them to go through all the registration with the SEC and all that type of thing. And, it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for them to get capital. And then on the other side, only big accredited investors have been able to
fat cats with the cigars.
Only the 1%ers have been able to, get involved in the Facebooks and the Twitters, those huge opportunities where they're just earning vast amounts of returns. Only they've been able to do it so far. But now, with these changes coming down the pipe, everybody will have a chance.
So if I was a small business and looking to now and wanted to, go public or sort of public or whatever and raise money that way, it'll cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to get all that paperwork at the SEC to do it. And when you come on board, it's going to cost me maybe a couple $100 to, to do it. That's it, huh?
We're still waiting on the final rules on how that's going to play out. I mean, there's definitely going to be some SEC involvement and some disclosure that the companies are going to have to do. But compared to what the current environment is, it's going to be much, much simpler and less costly for sure.
No, it sounds like it's going to explode in this country. But now, right now, the rules are being worked at on the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, one of those bureaucrats in Washington. And then they're going to announce these rules, and then people have to comment on them before they go into stone, and you guys go off to the races, right?
That's right. We're just waiting on them. I mean, we have the overall cloud view of what's going to happen, but the details are still coming down the pipe. We're trying to set it up where we want to do our own due diligence and make sure that we don't do the least amount possible. We may do a little more than the SEC requires. We're probably going to set it up to where worst case scenario type thing, and then if we can back off of that, we will.
So then your platform will be a place like I'm an average investor now, and I don't have to be a fat cat, a registered investor, which means I have to have $1 million or something like that. So I could be an average investor making 50 grand or something like that. Come to your site and find the next Facebook and get a piece of that.
Absolutely. That's what's so exciting about it. I mean,
wow.
I mean, all you have to do is have a little bit of extra discretionary income. I mean, obviously, the smaller investors aren't going to have as much money to invest, and they're going to be much more careful with the amount that they do have. But if you just have, $1,000 you want to put in, you can put it in. And if you get it in, if you happen to hit the next Facebook, that $1,000 would turn into a vast amount of money. So
you won't be working anymore. But more importantly, I think that this
it's like getting the lottery.
Right, and that's what it is in a way. But it's better than lottery to me because it's doing something important. You're creating a job, you're creating a business, and you can invest in something that you really believe in.
And you can also see who else is investing. So if that fat cat who spends a lifetime studying this stuff, you know what they bought. And you can just hook on their coattails if you want. Yeah.
That's right. I mean, that's one of the opportunities. You know, what's going to be unique about our platform is we're going to get social media involved in a very extensive way. You know, it's called crowdfunding for a reason. I mean, the crowd, you know, is who we're going to get involved. Not just, you know, we're not going to really, you know, obviously the individual investors have to do their thing, but they can rely on what everybody else is doing. They will be able to communicate through social media with other investors. We'll have statistics on this website about specific offerings, the interest that offering is getting, how much money has been pledged for that offering, who has pledged. You know, we want to be able to literally, you know, they'll be able to connect with any of the investors that are following an offering, and get all the information they need about what the crowd is doing, and they can follow the wisdom of the crowd to kind of. You don't even really have to be that sophisticated to, you know, to know how to read an income statement or a balance sheet necessarily. If you want, you can be involved and just, you know, follow the wisdom of the crowd, as they say.
Right, and just not miss anything. So, I mean, that's why I see, as an entrepreneur or as an investor, I mean, a year from now, this it's going to be a whole new, wonderful ballgame, but a new game for the little guy. That's what it's all about, it seems. And it's going to unlock all that potential and capital and everything for the rest of us to take advantage of stuff that only happen in country clubs and back rooms and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, how many times, I don't know how many times I've thought in my life, you know, you hear about IPOs coming out, that type of thing, you know, how do I get involved in an IPO? How do I get involved? You know, you can't.
You can't, right.
Only the big guys get it, and this is your chance to now do that type of investing where, you know, it's been, you know, they've been discriminated against for way too long, and you know, there was reasons for it 80 years ago why they did those rules, but those rules are not relevant anymore, and it's exciting that everybody's going to have those type of opportunities.
Well, that's great, and thank you for doing this and opening it up for the rest of us, and giving us an opportunity to get in on this, win or lose, but we want to play. That's the important thing. And now actually you could go to truecrowd.com and you know, at least, you know, start learning about this stuff, right? Because the more you learn, the better you'll be in a year from now.
Absolutely. I mean, we're still very much building the platform right now. We have a temporary website up where you can get on, and if you're interested, please give us your email address, and we can send you information as we go along and start putting our phases out and releasing this thing. So we've already got a lot of interest on the website that we put up, and anybody, you know, we're on Facebook and Twitter and things like that as well. So if you want to follow us on Facebook, please go there, and we can get some information out to you.
Great. Well, that's wonderful, Scott. Thanks again for being there. And it's truecrowd.com. And you want to be part of the True Crowd.
This is the true crowdfunding site right here.
Great. Thank you so much. See, so keep track of this stuff. It's coming. It's a freight train that's coming down the path. It's going to leave without you if you don't start learning about it. You don't want to be the last one in America to know about all the neat things that are happening. Be the last one in the 1990s who invested in the internet, right? The last one in 2007 who invested in real estate. No. Learn fast. Learn often. Learn right now. Now, wouldn't you like to be able to take your idea that you know the world really needs and to be able to just put it on the internet and make $150,000 in 30 days? That's right. It costs you nothing to do that. You know, to put it on the internet. Well, you know, this is what happens, you know, and this is what happens to people, you know, now in this country. These are the kind of tools that are out there for people to do this. And we're going to talk to a person now, Bob Martin, who did that out in Chicago, you know, and he had a great little idea, you know, he's been working on it. And see, it takes effort.
And that's the key. It's not going to take a bunch of millions of dollars to do stuff, but it does take effort and thought. And there's programs and help and things like that that's out there available for you, to help you with that effort and thought, to develop these kinds of ideas to do it. It doesn't take magic. It just takes perseverance. You know that. We all know that. And now there's places on the web that you could go out and fail and try this kind of stuff. So listen to Bob's story. He's a great guy, he's doing it, and then he's going to go on. I mean, he wasn't a big guy, with all kinds of money and all kinds of distribution already. No, he just had ideas and wanted to get them out there. Now, we all have ideas, so learn from Bob how you get them out there. Well, Bob Martin, with linktech.com. Man, I never know there was such fine craftsmanship in the stylus for iPads. So you got this, this stylus now. You have it on Kickstarter for like, gosh, you get one for under $50 or whatever at a deal too. That is so fine that you could really do some fine art on an iPad now. How'd you get into this stuff?
Well, thanks, Matthew. Well, we got started a couple of years ago in the stylus business. I personally have always been kind of an early adopter of technology.
Are you an artist too, or not?
No, I'm not an artist. I have a daughter that's a rather good artist, but myself, I'm not. I really got into it because of the idea of being able to take notes and being able to take notes on an iPad and not carry stacks and stacks of notebooks all around with you all the time. And the styluses I tried a few years ago when iPad apps were first coming out just really didn't cut it. So we got together a few people and we decided to start a company that would make a better stylus. And
how about your fingers? Did that work at all? I mean,
yeah, the finger doesn't cut it for writing. For navigating and playing games, it's pretty good. But for writing, it just wasn't cutting it.
Yeah.
So we did put out some products that we called our True Glide conductive fiber stylus, and we were able to make the tip size smaller in that than most of the devices on the market. But we really set a stretch goal for ourselves to make it really small.
Almost like a pencil. Now it's almost like a pencil, the new one, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you can kind of see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I see, right. So you could write like that. I mean, it seems not only easier, if you're taking notes because you don't have a 5-inch, paintbrush.
Well, note taking, there's a lot of fantastic apps, and a lot of those apps are integrating handwriting recognition. So if, for example, you and I have been corresponding for years and had meetings and we took notes, your handwriting can actually be transcribed into a typed text that becomes searchable.
I see. Okay, so I could write with your stylus on my iPad. I could write, and it'll turn into type words, huh?
Exactly. There's a company out of France called Vision Objects that just makes this fantastic handwriting recognition that a lot of companies are integrating into their note-taking apps.
Wow,
so
great.
As you take your notes, they convert it to text, and if I wanted to go back and say, show me everything I've talked to Matthew about the last 5 years, I can see both my handwritten notes and the text, and I can search for keywords. And
wow.
So imagine those big stacks of notebooks all gone.
Yeah.
but that wasn't.
Also, I like writing too when I'm taking notes, like at a conference or something. I hate typing, and writing still feels better to me for some reason.
Yeah, well, there's nothing like the pen to pad, pen to paper of experience. So that's what we're shooting for with our True Glide Apex. Is the big kind of fat rubber tip stylus are still kind of like writing with an eraser, and the Apex is a big step closer to writing with a pen.
Well, I can't get over that. You have a device now you want to sell for, what is it? Eventually, when it comes on the market, it'll be like $60, but you could get it now on Kickstarter, and you're only a month from production for like almost 40% discount or something like that.
Well, some of the early bird specials went for like $39. There's still items out there for just under $50, and then actually we bundle it with there's a very attractive stand for it that we discount on Kickstarter. And there's also a special iPad case with a way that'll hold this stylus, because of course you want to carry your stylus with your iPad. but those bundles our staff put a way to kind of probably gave 20 to 30% off on those bundles by backing us on Kickstarter.
I mean, it's better than going to Walmart, man, with discounts, and stuff that nobody else has too. That's what's.
Yeah, but Kickstarter is good for everybody. It's a company like ours that's just getting started. We don't have the Walmart type distribution channels yet. It gives us a great opportunity to seek some additional funding and to create some brand awareness and also test the market and see if people really want to buy our product or not.
I mean, what made you, I guess, go to Kickstarter is because that. I mean, you have a free place to get your idea out there, get money, and find, well, already you got 1,500 customers, right?
Yeah, that really surprised us how many customers have jumped on this already. And it's really the Kickstarter community is all about backing musicians, artists, new technologies, cooks. There's all sorts of things on it, and a big bulk of the actual backers we have are from that community.
I see.
So getting the word out to others about what Kickstarter is kind of an interesting thing because a lot of people don't really know what it is yet. And it's
well, actually, what I can't get over. You were a smart man, Bob, but why did you screw up and only ask for $24,000, and now you have almost $90,000?
We needed a little more than that to go into full production. And we had been investing in this for about 18 months, and we were running quite tight on cash to continue this investment. And we thought, okay, if we can see that there's a Kickstarter crowd and there's some pent-up demand for this kind of product, and we can also get some of the cash to move us into production, that's the best of both worlds without having to try to go out to venture funding, give up part of your company. It could be months down the road before you even find something and someone else can beat you to the market. So,
well, that's but here you have 1,500 people. That's a market. I mean, that's a huge market already you have, and you don't even have the product yet. Most people have to make the product and find 1,500 people. You're finding 1,500 people, then making the product. Yeah.
Well, we've made the product, and the product's working well. And matter of fact, on the Kickstarter page, you can see some great notes that one of our staff posted yesterday, just how much fun it is to use it. So now we just need to go to full mass production, and that's the next step.
Yeah, I saw the video. Is cute. The people who were actually, you did man on the street, hey, try this, try that, and these people just go crazy when they use it.
Yeah, that was when the new iPhone 5S was coming out, and there was just lines outside of the Chicago Apple Store. And we just walked up to the lines because we were in Chicago shooting our video anyways, and said, let's see what people think. And those are all just real reactions of people just grabbing it and saying, wow, this really works.
It's funny when you say about iPhone now, when you and I are talking, we're talking about Obamacare, people have to wait and get on the website and hear people wait in line for a phone for days.
It's funny.
Yeah. Well, you got a great product there, Bob, and I guess you're also involved with an incubator program that a lot of people don't know about either. That may be in more cities than Chicago, where like for $200-300 a month, you have this place where you could work and be involved with 300 other people that are starting businesses and getting all kind of assistance.
There's a number of incubators in various cities. Chicago has one called 1871, and it's in the Merchandise Mart, which is a really large building in downtown Chicago. And it's a community of software developers, technology developers. It's partly funded by some different groups in the city, and altogether there's about 500 companies that are involved in that community. Wow. So it's kind of a big open space, not unlike a college library with conference rooms you can reserve, desk space, like that. So it's just great, and we've been able to start working with a number of software developers through that community for one of our next products we're going to have.
Wonderful. That's why America needs people like you creating more ideas with better products to create new jobs.
Well, you just got to get out there and try.
Absolutely. And that's why even crowdfunding is a way to fail, because it doesn't cost you much, right?
Well, you don't have to take the big step and fail. We don't have, like I said, the big Walmart and Best Buy type retail stores, at least not yet. And it's a great way to get it out there and get some recognition. And you haven't taken the leap of trying to build tens of thousands product and see if you can sell them or not. So
no, it's a safe way to see if there's a market, and if it fails, you just go on to something else. That's what life is. So now, here what you do now is you go to linktech.com and find the new stylists on Kickstarter through that link, or you have older stylists that are not as fine point, but are cool things, actually accessories for iPads, right?
Yeah, we're in the accessories for iPads is how we started, and we're going to keep growing in with some other electronics accessories in 2014.
Okay, well, let's get people linktech.com now, before Christmas, too. Thank you, Bob.
Bye-bye.
Now, not only did he get him out there, but he got $150,000. Wow, that's more than we even talked about. I just checked it after the interview we did, and that's like almost 1,000%, I think, over what he was hoping for. He was just hoping for like $25,000. That's all he really needed to get that project down the line. So there's always and to have surprises like that. You're looking for $25,000 or $24,000, I think he was after, and getting $150,000. I mean, boy, what is nicer in the world than to have a gift like that? But those gifts, don't come every day, and they don't come at all unless you're out there trying to do something. I mean, the surprises, the fun, everything that happens exciting in life only come from you trying it. And not having that big explosion every day, but having little successes so you get to that big explosion. So get out there and keep having those, single hitter base hits, so you can get those home runs once in a while.